The following video has been brought to you by Baba Ali's new word game, Kalimat. For more information, visit babaaligames.com.
I find it interesting on how so many people claim to hate Islam, but yet they watch my videos. Some people curse and use really bad profanity, which only makes them look uneducated. They spend their money and time trying to deceive people. They search all over YouTube trying to find some misguided Muslims who carry the same opinion that they do, so they can say, oh, look, this is what all the Muslims believe in. But the reality is that's not what all Muslims believe in. That's not even what the majority of Muslims believe in. You see, these people lie and twist verses of the Quran to try to deceive people, but they're only deceiving themselves. So one would think that such characters must be atheists, because how could a God-fearing person act in such a manner? But no, many of the atheists who happen to be subscribers to my blog are much more civilized than these people. What's funny is that these people claim to be devoted religious Christians. But anyone who's studied Christianity knows that these are not the teachings of the Bible. So where do these fearmongers come from? Honestly, I don't know. But what I do know is that people like this give religion a bad name. Many of the people who became atheists did so after they saw the hypocrisy of the so-called religious people. Personally, I don't judge all Christians based on the actions of these few people. My next door neighbor, she's a born-again Christian. She's very kind and we get along very well. I also have Jewish neighbors and neighbors of other faiths, and yes, we all get along. No one is fighting, cursing, trying to use crazy tactics to deceive one another. Each person carries their views and there's a mutual respect. If the issue of religion comes up, there's a discussion. And there's no arguments of my religion versus your religion. You see, I'd much rather have a discussion with someone who is civilized rather than to argue with someone who is ignorant. Now, if you watch my videos on YouTube and you read some of the comments, they oftentimes have nothing to do with each other. You see, this occurs when someone says something ignorant just to get a reaction. And just like moths to a flame, people fall into this trap and they end up in this endless argument. But is it really worth it? No. Because when you argue with an ignorant person, you always lose. I have learned to agree to disagree. I'm intellectually convinced of my beliefs. Now, until I'm intellectually convinced otherwise, I will continue to believe what I believe in. I often get asked, how come I don't respond to the anti-Ummah film videos that people put out there? And my answer to them is, I'm not here to argue. You see, if you're going to argue with every person that doesn't agree with you, you'll spend the rest of your life in an endless circle. In other words, you have to pick your battles. Otherwise, you're always going to be at war. I'd much rather have an intellectual discussion with someone searching for the truth than to reply to people who want to argue for the sake of argument. So I'm still wondering, why are these people who hate my videos watching my videos? I don't like your videos! Then why are you watching? Because I like watching videos I don't like. Okay. For all those who hate Islam because they watch too much Fox News, turn off your TV, open your mind, and go interact with some practicing Muslims to see what they really believe in. And keep in mind, not every Arab is Muslim, and not every Muslim is Arab. Islam doesn't see any color, so you see all kinds of people from all races and all backgrounds. And also, not every Muslim represents the entire Muslim population. Just like every other group, we have good and bad people among us. But the fact is that the majority of the Muslims do not follow the beliefs the fearmongers are trying to spread. If we're really supposed to kill all the non-Muslims, then why do we have Muslims living in the United States generation after generation and living here peacefully? If all Muslims are supposed to kill themselves so they can get 72 virgins and heavens and all this and that, then why are we still alive? Think about it. It's nonsense. It's really nonsense. We're not just part of the fabric of society, but many of us are becoming doctors and engineers. A good portion of Muslims are involved in charity work, which helps both Muslims and non-Muslims, because poverty doesn't care what religion you are. Did you know that at the time when Muslims ruled a good portion of the world, that Jews, Christians, and Muslims lived peacefully together? This is how you have Muslims, Jews, and Christians living in the same land for generation after generation after generation. When the Muslims had the power, the army, how come they didn't go kill all the Jews and Christians? The same way that the Australians went and killed the natives, or the Americans here killed the native Indians. How come? Because Islam teaches us that Jews and Christians have the right to practice their religion, their right to practice their religion. And we as Muslims cannot stop them. But of course the fearmongers won't tell you that because they copy and paste texts out of context with the hope that you are like sheep and you will follow them. But many people like myself are tired of the fearmongers, and these tactics are getting really old. I always wonder why some of these people in the comments section have so much hate inside of them. I don't think their religion teaches hate. but rather I think they are the ones who teach hate. I guess it goes to show you that you can't judge the entire group of people by the actions of an ignorant few. Now don't get me wrong, what you see in the actions of some Muslims is very different than what Islam teaches. And that is why I make my videos. I'm trying to make a positive difference. I'm trying to get all my Muslim brothers and sisters, starting with myself, back on track, so we can practice Islam correctly, the way the Prophet ﷺ practiced it. This is Ali reminding you just in case you forgot. This is Ali reminding you just in case you forgot.